I was a very good witness to the madness that was WCW. I've got lots to say about it. What a bunch of idiots, imbeciles, stupid as it gets. Stupid, clueless idiot, a bunch of clueless nuts. Is there anybody here that's got any brains? Stupid, stupid, stupid every day, every night. So stupid. Just really stupid. The biggest cutthroat bunch of conniving, backstabbing idiots you've ever seen in your life. That is such bullshit. It's the work of an idiot. Pathetic, really stupid idiots. Are you an idiot? Lost idiot? He was the shits. You will always be seen as a complete failure. The term motherfuckers would have been crossing my mind pretty regular. Thanks.
Love it.
That's so funny. And it's so funny, like in hindsight with Bret Hart, like he left WWF because he got screwed by Vince. And he was so angry at that he went to WCW for the money. Well, not for the money, but just because he got screwed. And then he gets fucking injured by Bill Goldberg. And it's like, maybe he should have just like took a break. You know what I mean?
Not only did he get injured by Goldberg and it ended his career, basically, he didn't really get to do anything that was that important there either.
Yeah.
He was like the hottest free agent in wrestling. They got him and they gave him the most money, and then they did fucking nothing with him.
It could be worse. You could be Ricochet that's just a fucking comedy fucking wrestler.
Whatever that weird fucking laugh he does.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we are back for getting some color where we review everything in 1995 at the moment, and we're almost close to the end, by the way. We have a couple more shows.
1995 by next episode. We'll done all the programming.
Yep. But today we are going to be covering WWF In Your House number 5. And then also WCW Nitro and WWF Monday Night Raw, December 18th, 1995. But let's go to In Your House because that is first. Hold on a second. I do not have the numbers, by the way, as far as like the buy rate and stuff.
I've got them. Let's see. They were attendance was 7,289. That's so specific that it's probably close to that.
Mm-hmm.
Buy rate was 84,000 with a domestic rating of 0.35%. So
not bad.
Well, it is bad actually.
Oh yeah? Okay.
I was reading it. Apparently this is like the lowest buy rate show they've ever done up to that point.
It's weird because, like, I'm going to show my hand. I enjoyed this In Your House.
It was pretty good. Yeah, like the main event was awesome. But yeah, I guess people weren't into it for some reason.
Oh, they were in PA. That makes sense.
Fucking Hershey Park.
Yeah, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Bulldog apparently hated that fucking arena, so it's like a meme now with me. Because Jim Cornette told a story about him, how every time they went to Hershey Park, he fucking complained all day and the day before when they would go there.
That's funny. I need to listen to more Jim Cornette stories. Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler are doing commentary. And I'm like, okay. and then we get into the opening contest. Where Sid the Kid. Wait, no. Sid the Kid.
Sid the Kid.
Sid and the Kid. Because Sid the Kid is a funny that's in Pennsylvania, but Sidney Crosby for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, anyway. Sid and 1-2-3 Kid with Ted DiBiase is facing Marty Jannetty and Reza Ramon. Which makes sense, right? Because 1-2-3 Kid is a fucking douche. And he pissed off Marty Jannetty, and Marty Jannetty was probably like, hey, man, or Meng, Razor, join my team. And he's like, yeah, Meng, I'm gonna fucking kill him, Meng.
all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Both guys have had problems with both the other guys.
Yes. And Goldust is in the crowd, full get up, has his own usher and everything.
He has his own private box.
And what was it? Vince McMahon didn't even know what a fucking usher is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because fucking Lawler was like, hey, he's got his own usher. He's like, that's what you call it. And I'm like, yes, Vince, that's what they call it, a usher.
What last time you think Vince went to the movies? They probably had ushers, I guess, last time he went to the movies.
Yeah.
I was going to say, at that point, ushers weren't really a thing anymore. They were gone.
Mm. All right, well, I'm going to let you take it away with the play-by-play.
Well, I don't have a lot of it for this one, but it's like I noticed Razor came out in a leather jacket to show solidarity with Marty because he was wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he got this leather jacket instead of wearing the vest. Yeah, that's when Goldust was near the entranceway in his private box, and Razor somehow didn't notice or something. He did that twice. He does it on Raw too.
Mm-hmm.
Goldust really enjoyed Razor's entrance. He was really into it.
Yeah.
He was like making faces and like licking his lips and shit. And I have to note also before the match started, there was a guy in one of the first few front rows that had a big sign that said "Marty must die," and that made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
This guy hates Marty. What the hell? And then, like, I'm just gonna get this out of the way now because they start having the match, and it's like kind of normal stuff for a bit, and then like it goes to Todd Pettigrew, who goes up to Goldust in his box, and he's asking him what he's doing here, and then Goldust is like, he's got like a program for like the show, and he's like fanning himself with it, like he's like, oh, he's all hot and everything, and he's like, he answers with a quote from The Graduate. He's like, "Are you here for an affair, sir? The Graduate, 1967." And he's like, "Look at him, oozing with machismo. Look at that long, wavy black hair, that broad chest with hair. He's making me sweat with ecstasy." He's like pausing and shit. He's like, "Before I drown in a hormonal sea of life, would you be so kind as to give him this?" And he hands him like a golden envelope.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd just takes it, and he's like,
back to you, Vince.
He can't say anything because he's so weirded out.
Weirded out by his gayness. Because let's be serious. That's what like it comes off as.
Oh, that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, it's like I just imagine Vince going up to Dustin and be like, "I need you to be gay."
But we're not going to call you gay. We're going to call you bizarre.
Yeah. And just as you're getting gay, get gayer. And that's like how like I feel like Vince told Dustin. He's like, all right.
I think at this point Dustin's like all in on it now. Like it feels like he's really in on it now. He might have needed a adjustment period to be like, I gotta act like this crazy gay guy. I've just been Dustin the whole time.
But what's so funny about this is they're gonna build this feud, which eventually Razor leaves, right? And that's where we get Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he leaves pretty soon. And the other thing is this wasn't going to culminate anyway because Scott Hall didn't like this program. And basically he told Vince, dude, I don't want to do this. This is weird. And I have kids, and they're going to be like asking me questions and shit when I get home. And I don't want to try to have to explain this to them. So,
well, I feel like it kind of showed. Well, we'll get to it. Yeah.
But that's the program with Razor kind of dies before it ever goes anywhere. And then, then he leaves, and then it turns into a thing with Roddy Piper instead, which was also good. So,
I got some
but,
backstory on that. I researched a lot of that shit, but we'll get to it.
oh yeah, for sure we will.
Mm-hmm.
As for the match, it was okay. I kind of wish they did the Gold Dust thing in the beginning, like while they were doing the entrances, rather than cut into the middle of the match.
Yeah, I feel like this was showcasing more Gold Dust than the actual match, which is kind of upsetting a little bit to me, or kind of disappointed, because I did kind of want to see this tag team match, which it was okay, but it felt like a Raw tag match.
It did a little bit, and like I don't know about you, but like honestly, so typically like on Raw, if they do something like that, where it's like, oh, there's a phone call from somebody and they have to talk to them, and they like cut it up to where like the match isn't as, it's like they're splitting the screen a little bit for some reason, even though they're just talking to a guy on a phone and you can't see him anyway. Like you don't need to do that, but every time that happens, it like distracts from the match. But it's like this time there's like a whole other screen and you're watching Gold Dust and you really want to pay attention to him because he's Gold Dust. So he's really distracting from the match when that's going on.
Yeah.
So I even went back and tried to like watch it again, and I still couldn't because I was like listening to what he was saying. I was like, I don't know what they're doing. They're just doing shit in there, and it's not registering to me.
And the ending felt weird too.
Sort of. I guess it did. Like, yeah.
I mean, I'm excited how it ended because I was like, "Fucking A, okay," because it was like a move that was like. Because like you watch today modern stuff, they have to hit like 5 RKOs and like 4 fucking curb stomps. So when I see like a bulldog that happens that ends the fucking match, I'm just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, Razor hits his second rope bulldogs. He's beaten people with that sometimes. So it's not out of left field, it feels like, for him to win with that move when it happens. But it's always like, oh, he got him. Like, that's like your reaction. Because that's just how they did the matches back then.
Yeah, but like, tell me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Sid and 123 Kid get the tag belts at some point?
I don't know. Because, like, they might. And I just don't know about it. Because I can't remember who was tag champions going into 96, really, in, like, the early part of it. And we both know Kid, Sean Waltman's going to leave pretty soon too. Like he's going to be out in the next 3 or 4 months probably. So I don't know, but anyways, they slowed down in the middle when the heels had control for a bit and they were getting heat on Marty, and then they did like this great hot tag where it was like Marty was so fucked up he couldn't even stand up straight. You thought he was gonna fuck up making the tag, and then he like kind of fell into it.
Marty sells good, by the way.
He's honest in the ring. He's pretty great, honestly. It's just he can't cut a great promo, and he's insane. Apparently, those are the things that holds him back.
He reminds me of a lot of like fucking older dudes in the 90s just sipping a fucking Budweiser listening to Journey.
Yeah, he kind of comes off like that. Razor's beating the crap out of every kid, and then he hits him with the sack of shit slam.
Yeah.
And then the SOS. And then he tries to Razor's Edge Sid, but Sid backdrops him instead. And he stops his momentum for a second. And then, like, somehow that leads to Razor hitting the Bulldog off the second rope, and he pins Sid. Which is like, whoa, crazy.
And then he tries to, like, fucking Razor Edge 123 Kid. And Sid, like, pulls him with one arm through, like, the second.
He pulls with one arm, and when he does, it's like his throat hits the rope when he's coming down. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
That was funny. I gave it a 6.4 because it was like okay. It was pretty good. I might have rated it a little higher if I didn't get distracted from the middle, but yeah.
I gave it a 5.9. I was like, it's okay. I was disappointed that they like put like a showcase of Goldust in the middle. I'm not saying Goldust is a negative, but it's like with these guys on a pay-per-view, like I don't know. But that's just me.
A little bit.
What are you giving it?
6.2.
Okay. So the ring announcer like spoils a dude coming later because he's like, down to the ring, Buddy Landell, and fucking Vince is like, I think he got that wrong.
He did?
Yeah.
It's just, what the fuck?
What is he talking about?
I got really confused when like Jerry Lawler introduced Jeff Jarrett. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
I spoiled myself with this section because I think our favorite wrestling bios like covered this in one of his videos, and I was like,
maybe he did. I haven't seen that yet though.
Mm-hmm.
It
could have been OSW.
Maybe. There's not a whole lot that happens here. Like Jerry gives fucking Double J a commemorative gold CD for his Ain't I Great album.
Mm-hmm.
And Double J says he's doing a new tour in '96, Greater Than Great, and he's entering the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry tells him to come sit on commentary because McMahon's boring. It's like he's out there by himself or something.
Yeah, Double J is like, we're adding some class to this announce table, and you see Vince's face. Yeah, pal.
You see, yeah. I didn't expect him to come back here. I knew he was coming back in the Rumble edit, so I was like a little surprised by this, actually.
Oh, I see. So you actually had a good pop?
It seemed like he did, yeah, to me. It was like, I mean, people react.
No, I'm asking you, did you had a little pop when he came out?
Oh, sort of. It was like, oh, he's back here. Huh. I thought it was next month.
Yeah. Oh, the people fucking hated him, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good pop for a heel.
Yeah, good heel pop. And fucking Dean Douglas is in the ring and shit. He's talking about how his back is not 100. He said it's 65%, I think he said, right?
Something like that. Apparently his back is actually fucked up at this time. And that's what leads to him leaving the company, actually.
I guess Vince is like, you could work on it, pal.
Yeah, actually, that's what happened. Like,
yeah.
And I noticed it too when he was coming out. Like, he didn't look that good to me. Like, yeah, when he's in Dean Douglas mode, looks all smarmy and shit, and like he's having a blast out there. He didn't look like he was in that high spirits when he was coming out. And I was reading about, because I was like, why does he leave? Did he just get pissed off and left because of politics or what? No, it was because he got a back injury, and then they do a Madison Square Garden show shortly after this, like in a week or two or something. And it's so bad that he still can't wrestle. And then like he has a doctor check him out there at the arena. And he tells Vince, is like, he actually can't wrestle. He has like a muscle spasm in his back so bad that he could potentially get paralyzed if it doesn't get treated.
And Vince was like you can still wrestle, pal.
He was pissed off. He's like, what the god damn it. Just have somebody else fucking work or something. And then like basically that pissed Shane off too, because he's like, god damn it, I'm actually fucked up. And then like he wanted to leave after that. And then he made some kind of claim as well, like Vince never paid him as much as he said he was going to, which I might check out at that time because he was doing budget cuts, brother.
Yeah, he was trying to take away the water coolers and Dean Douglas.
He was taking away water coolers, Dean Douglas, Lundra Blaze, the women's division.
Yeah.
He was cutting shit.
He kept Bull Nakano. That's all he cares. Anyway, Dean Douglas introduces his new graduate student. Thanks, announcer, the former Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion, Buddy Landell.
Yeah.
And my response was, Huh. Okay. And then Ahmed Johnson comes out. I'm like, oh no.
And he fucking killed him, basically. There's nothing to even go on about in the match.
Yeah.
Like, I will say this. It's funny because I've heard other people say this about Buddy Landel. Like, he's like great value Ric Flair kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got long blonde hair. He comes out in a fucking robe. And I don't know if this is the original music he used. I don't know if this is like edited in there or some shit after the fact. But like, he even has like kind of great value Ric Flair music. It's not the 2001 Space Odyssey. I don't know the name of the piece. That's just what I call it.
Doesn't Shane Douglas hate Ric Flair?
Yeah. They don't like each other.
That's so fucking hilarious then. That's even more hilarious that he chose Buddy Landel.
It is kind of funny. Buddy Landel's that's in the Raw match. I'll get a little bit more into him later because he actually has a match on Raw.
Yeah, that's what well, then again, it's Ahmed Johnson, so they're still like building him as a monster.
Yep, and well, he crushed him here. Like, I think Douglas slaps Ahmed before the match starts, and then he just gets out of there. And that's when I knew his back was fucked up for sure, because like when he got out of the ring, he did it like awkwardly and very gingerly landed on the floor. I was like, oh yeah, his back is fucked up. Buddy tried to take advantage, but like Ahmed just no-sold all his shit and did a spine buster and a Pearl River plunge and beat him.
Dude, that Pearl River plunge was like a little spotty. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna kill him, but he recovered.
He hit it.
Yeah. I did like that. Like Double J was like trying to figure out who fucking Dean Douglas and Ahmed Johnson. Because like he's like playing off like he hasn't been here in a while. And he doesn't know who the fuck is who. He's being kayfabe essentially.
Yeah.
And like Jerry Lawler is like, Dean Douglas is a smart guy. Like I'm paraphrasing, and he's like, yeah, he seems like a smart heel, or not heel, but you know what I mean. He was like agreeing with him after he found out who they were, and like Ahmed Johnson, he just like talk shit about them.
Well, yeah, because Jerry didn't like him.
Yeah.
Then like they do a whole segment thing after the match too.
Yeah, where like Lawler's essentially making fun of him, and then Ahmed Johnson fucking like turns to Double J, and he's like, "You achy breaky wannabe," or something like that.
I had it wrote down what he said because it was like crazy. Like he called him a fake ass urban cowboy, achy breaky heart punk. Like that's like what he said. He insulted him like 4 times in one insult. Like,
and then while Lawler is doing his jokes on Ahmed, Double J takes that present that Lawler got him, the gold record, and smashes it on top of Ahmed's head. And I laughed because how Ahmed went down. He just like dropped to his knees and did like a daze thing.
He did like a stutter step thing and was like,
yeah. It's like when a zombie gets up and he has like that dazed look, getting up slowly. That's how like Ahmed Johnson was.
It just turns into like a attempted beatdown segment after that. Like,
we talked about how Naomi and fucking Jade had a shitty beatdown, and I like at least they looked like they were kind of brawling, but like it looked like a struggle to get to the gorilla.
Oh yeah, you mean in this?
Yeah, because essentially Ahmed like gets out of his daze, and Double J is like smashing his head into the steel chairs, and then out of nowhere, like Ahmed Johnson goes to fucking Luke Cage mode, and like no souls it, and like starts to beat down Double J, And I laughed again so hard because he like books it to the steel chair that they were using on him before. And like Double J like fucking tackles him. I'm like, what is going on right now? I mean, it looked good because it looked like in a movie when both the protagonist and antagonist is like crawling to get the one gun. Essentially, that's what it was with these guys with a steel chair. It was hilarious.
It was funny because like I think it started out good and then it like got awkward in that part there you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was going on exactly, but like is like so after he hits him with the record thing, I love this part. Jeff's like laughing and so's King, and then he's like, "Get Ahmed a chair. He's gonna need a chair after that." Like he's like gonna help him or some shit.
Yeah.
Jerry gets a chair and then like he just shoves Ahmed's head into the fucking chair, which was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then then it turns into like what you were saying there, where like he's kind of beating him down, he throws him into the stairs, and then like Ahmed starts to not sell it. And then they fight over the chair, and it's like Jarrett gets on his back or some shit, like he's gonna try to choke him out, and they walk back to the in your house door and struggle for a second, then nothing happens, then Jarrett runs away.
It kind of makes me think, like, remember how I was like, I hate when they do the security breakup when there's a brawl thing. I feel like Vince, like, this was like the perfect time to probably get security.
I think Ahmed didn't know how to do beatdown.
Yeah.
Or like be a recipient of one, because it's like I noticed like, okay, I found Ahmed's weakness besides, God damn it, he hurts people. He can't sell that good.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what the fuck is he's selling, like a cartoon, like a Mortal Kombat character or something?
He was doing fine when like after he like dazed from the hit from behind, but like when he was getting the steel chair for not the steel stairs and stuff, like it looked good, like he was selling. But then out of nowhere, he like went into Terminator mode or like Michael Myers, and he like sprung up and stuff, and like essentially did the Hulk Hogan thing where he's like, "You," but he didn't point.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, he just looks at you and like he's gonna fucking kill you.
This was still better than Naomi beating down Jade.
100 times better. 100 times better. So we move to Petting Zoo interviews Razor Ramon, who offers some brief words for the match against Yokozuna tomorrow night on Raw. Ramon is given the golden envelope, and out of nowhere, he just gets really pissed off. And I want, like, in my mind, I wonder if it's like gay stuff. Be like, I want to fuck you, Razor Ramon, and all that stuff. And he's like so angry, like legit angry.
There's a lot of text on that. I was like wondering what it was really saying, or if it was just gibberish or some shit. But like, it was also funny to me that Razor Ramon's back here and he just got done talking on America Online. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that.
It was like the infant stages of the internet. For
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny though, because like when he got the letter, Vince was like wanting to cut back to them at the arena, and Jerry's like, "No, hold on a second. No, hold on. Let's see what his reaction is to reading this." And he like he badgered Vince into staying on him.
It makes me wonder, like, was it like, did they like rib him essentially?
I'm not sure. Maybe that's possible.
Vince could also be in on it. He's just playing the fact. He's like, what's
Vince would set things up to rib people sometimes, and it would be something that would happen on TV.
Yeah, like when Mark Henry with the real lock on the steel cage.
Another one I found out about that I didn't know about previously was I watched a Wrestling Bios video about Shotgun Saturday Night.
Mm-hmm.
And the Godwins were fighting, I think it was like the fucking Headbangers or something. And they went back, and Phineas had Midian. He had a fucking bucket of slop. And he was supposed to hit like one of the headbangers with it, but instead he hit Pat Patterson there at Gorilla. And then Pat was like, his free action wasn't even like he was pissed off. He was just like, what the fuck? And he started laughing. Like on camera, he started laughing.
That's fucking awesome.
So he like, it was set up just to fucking slot Pat.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so he's like freaking out and stuff, Razor Ramon, and I just like laughed. I'm like, I kind of hope it was like some stupid shit they were ribbing him.
I want to fuck you and shit on your head. Something like that.
Probably. So next match we have the Hog Pen match with Hillbilly Jim as special guest referee, and I was like, hey, that's cool. And it's Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Henry Godwin, or Hog.
I didn't know Hillbilly Jim was going to referee this.
Me either.
Like, the show. It's like, did you guys just do that, reveal that on Superstars or something, and we didn't see it? Like, they also didn't explain the stipulation of the match until like after it started.
Yeah, I was confused because I thought it was going to happen inside the pig pen.
Me too. And no, apparently not. It's like, what did I say this was? This is like a redneck casket match is what this is. It's like, it's the same thing as a casket match. It's just like it's some fucking hog farmer from Arkansas beats shit out of you and throws you in the hog pen. Or you throw him in the hog pen. That's how you win.
I didn't even think of that. I thought of it as Redneck Royal Rumble.
And that means Henry Godwin is Redneck Undertaker.
Yeah.
This is his signature match.
Hillbilly Jim is fucking the Paul Bearer.
I guess.
Is there a lot of play-by-play in this one? Because it was like they had a little match in the ring and then they brought it to the pig pen.
A little bit. I was kind of surprised by like what they did in this. Actually, a little bit. When Henry Godwin comes out, he's got 2 buckets of slop, and he's like threatening to slop Helmsley, who's like, "Oh no!" And he was doing this shit when he came out. When he even walked by the hog pen, he was like mortified, and he was like smelling it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Lawler was alluding to there's hog shit in there like the whole time. But like Godwin's about to slop him, and then he grabs like a ringside personnel guy and uses him as a fucking human shield. And he gets slopped, and I was like, okay, that was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get in the ring and they actually fight. And these dudes were like throwing bombs at each other. They were like punching and making it look good, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, Triple H is a good puncher.
Yeah, he's a good puncher, and I guess Henry Godwin is too, you know? Like,
maybe they were shooting, brother.
Nah, they weren't shooting. I think they were motivated to make this match better than what everybody thought it would be, I think is what Undertaker said.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had Henry Godwin on the show a few months ago. And he's like, man, everybody in the back thought this was actually pretty cool by the time you guys were done. And he's like, yeah, me and Hunter wanted to like do a good match, so you know we did. That was basically his response. But I think Godwin ties Hunter up in the ropes after he does like a backdrop, and he's gonna get the other slop.
Mm-hmm.
And he like but he gets some in his hand. He just shoves it in his face and mouth. And I thought Hunter was gonna like freak out and shit, but instead it pissed him off so bad that he freed himself and started beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he shows you he's not a pussy. Oh. Yeah,
I also love that Vince was gagging. He like on the
he was dry heaving like
yeah.
But he hits Hog from behind with a clothesline and starts laying into him in the corner. Does like a running neck breaker, and he's like controlling the match after that.
Mm-hmm.
They go out the floor, and then they fight to the hog pen. And again, the objective is to throw the guy in the hog pen. That's how you win.
Mm-hmm.
So Helmsley's getting ready to do a pedigree, but he's like really close to the pin, and then Godwin's like no, and he backdrops him. And you think, oh my god, but no, Hunter lands on the fence. He hangs onto the fence instead of flying into the pin.
Yep.
And like Godwin's like resting on the floor because like he just got done taking a bunch of hits from Triple H, really.
And he had to lift him.
Yeah, so he's like tired and he's hurt, so he's like laying on the floor. So what does Hunter Hearst Helmsley do? He does an elbow drop off the fence onto the fucking floor.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
He's like, oh shit, let's go. And then they get back in the ring and Hunter shoots Hog off and he tries to do a monkey flip, but then Godwin's like, no. And he picks him up and does like a wheelbarrow flapjack. And I was like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yep.
Then they brawl back outside. Godwin tries to hit the slop drop on Hunter on the concrete floor. But Hunter grabbed the security rail and he blocked it. So Godwin just like took a flat back buck on the concrete and landed on his head. And then Hunter's getting ready to put him he's going to shoot him into the hog pen gate. But Henry Godwin reverses it and he throws Hunter into it. And he like the gate's all fucked up and bent. And that's where he cut his back. He was talking about how Henry was saying he cut his back in that match. And I was like, is this match? Because they have some other match later too, I think. And I get him confused sometimes. And he's like, yeah, it was this one because I saw his back bleeding after a while. Let's see. I think Godwin hit the slop drop after that on the floor, and Hunter's like dead.
Yeah.
And you think he's got it in the bag, basically. Godwin charges Hunter like he's hanging on the fence. He's trying to get up. But Hunter backdrops Godwin into the pit and wins. And I was like, what? Because I just didn't expect that. I thought he was going to lose.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then Hillbilly Jim's even like, what? He like can't believe that Hunter won. Pretty good.
So, yeah, I thought it was decent, but I also like thought it was quick for some strange reason.
I think it was the right amount of time. Like, it wasn't too long, wasn't too short.
Mm.
I think if it was longer, it probably wouldn't have been as good.
Probably. Yeah, I think you're right.
What'd you get?
But I gave it a 6.4 out of 10.
I gave it a 6.7.
Oh, you were a little higher than me. Okay.
I liked how they really, up to this point, you never saw Hunter Hearst Helmsley like really fight like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Godwin, you never really see him get that violent either, really. So it was pretty good. It's like they brought the intensity a little bit.
Yeah, and Hillbilly Jim tries to raise like Hunter's arm, and he like pushes Hillbilly, and they're about to like, face off, and then like Hog brings him into the pig pen, and I love that Triple H is like fucking selling it the slip every time he gets up.
Fuck, that shit's great. He press slammed him into the shit. Like, yeah. There's this patch of ground in there that's darker than the others, noticeably. He's like, that must be where the pig shit is that King keeps talking about. Put him in there, and then he picks his ass up and body slams him into it. And it's cut back and everything. And I'm like, oh man, that's 1,000 wonders he didn't get like some kind of weird infection.
He probably like went to the back and just fucking cleaned this shit off.
Yeah, get the shit off me. Get me some like iodine and some other shit. Like, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I thought it was a nice little decent match. This actually felt like a pay-per-view match compared to the last match.
Yeah, it felt like a lower card feud pay-per-view match where they cranked it up a notch.
Mm-hmm. We move because we have the video package which hypes Diesel and Owen Hart. Because remember, Owen Hart's like, "Woo! I fucking killed Shawn Michaels. I'm doing an open challenge," and Diesel's like, "I'm gonna fucking do this for my friend, and I'm cool and stuff." And yeah, so we got Owen Hart with Jim Cornette versus Diesel.
Well, Big D gets Owen in the corner and he starts kneeing him. And then he gets Owen in the opposite corner and he sidewalk slams him. He gets the 2. Like, he almost beat him there. And he's like blasting Owen with like punches and shit. He's shooting him off. And he goes for a big boot, but I think Owen dodges, hits the leg there. Then he puts Diesel in the corner and he's going to like try the 10 punch in the corner thing. But no, Big D's got too much fuel in the tank for that. So he just throws Owen off and he lands like in this awkward ass heap. Like, I was like, oh, damn, did he land on the back of his head? But no, he was fine, I guess.
Yep.
Then Diesel clotheslined him out to the floor. And then, like, Owen had to collect himself out there for a minute. Like, Cornette goes over there. He's like, what are you doing? Get up! He just got his ass kicked. And, like, Owen starts working Diesel's leg when they get back in the ring. He's kicking him and fucking his leg up and shit, landing on it. And then of course, when he's got Diesel on the ground, he goes, woo! After his legs up. But Owen hits Enziguri, gets 2. And then Diesel's able to get up and he fights back and he does snake eyes and he does the Big D rope crotch attack thing when the dude's hanging on the ropes. Which, by the way, that move looks really good when he does it because he's so big.
Yep.
You see the ropes bend and shit, and it's like, oh, like he really like fucking almost decapitated you or some shit. Diesel does big boot, and then he gets sewn up for the jackknife, or he gets ready to, and he's like, "This is for you, Sean," and he does it. And then he puts his foot on Owen's chest like he's gonna pin him, and that probably would have pinned him, but then Diesel backed off. And he picks him up to do it again. And for some reason, Tim White's like trying to stop him. I don't know why. I mean, like, he's not doing anything illegal.
Maybe he thought he was going to kill him because he's doing it for Sean.
You want to kill Sean? I'll kill you. Maybe that's what it was. But he's like, fuck off. And he just shoves Tim White away. And he causes Diesel to get DQ'd. Diesel says, fuck it. Jackknifes him again because he was going to anyway.
I like the ending because I feel like it's just like Diesel being like, whatever, man, I'm cool.
He does what he wants now.
Mm-hmm.
He actually is cool now. So technically, Owen beat Diesel by DQ. So his reign of terror is continuing.
Owen fucking sold it too at the end. He like couldn't fucking move.
Yeah, he was dead.
What'd you give this match?
I gave it a 6.2.
I'm a little bit higher. I give it a 6.7. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed Owen dying, I think.
Yeah. I enjoyed Owen dying and Diesel being like back to fucking cool Diesel again.
I felt like the match was really starting to get rolling, and then it ended, and I was like, oh, well, it was still fun for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually subtract points from matches if they end in a DQ or something, unless it's like something pretty bad. So it was just that's where it stopped.
Yeah. After this, Henry Godwin and Hunter Hearst Helmsley are shown talking to fans on the Superstar line.
Talking on the phone, they're chatting in the AOL fucking chat rooms.
Yeah, Sonny was like fucking covering her nose and shit. Right in front of Triple H. So he might have actually fell into shit and he smells like shit for real.
Maybe.
Anyway, we fucking have Savio Vega and Santa Claus coming down with a surplus of WWF gear. Although it is unclear if thousands of Pogs were distributed with every gift, because there was talk about Pogs being there.
Still got to find those Pogs.
Yeah. Ted DiBiase gets on the mic, rips the pants about maxing their credit cards. I fucking laughed at that. and after turning Santa to turn to Savio, which fucking McMahon screaming, "Say it ain't so," and Santa Claus beats up Savio Vega.
That shit was great.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed at this. I don't know. It's just funny to me. They built this whole thing up though, because Ted's like asking Savio Vega if he believes in Santa Claus. He's like, "See, in English." Just, and then like, yeah, and then Santa jumps him and stuff. And the funniest part was after Santa jumped him, Ted started stomping the shit out of Savio too, and he saw at the microphone he was fucking laughing and shit as he was beating the hell out of Savio. It made it funnier. And then he's like, "Everybody's got a price for the $1 million man."
Even Santa Claus.
Even Santa Claus. They leave. And then Savio's like, "No, man, I'm not going to let them punk me out like that." So he like attacks them from behind as they're leaving. And then he rips Santa Claus's beard and hat off. And I was like, who the fuck is that? Because I couldn't tell who it was. It was obviously some wrestler. And then I was like, because it's like, it's not Bam Bam. And I was like, could it be Bastion Booger? Or like, did he lose a little weight? Like, no, I looked it up. It was Balls Mahoney. I had no idea.
So wild.
It's crazy. Well, you know, what's funny is Balls wrestled at the Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I think that's really where he got his start at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of, I guess, this is when Smoky Mountain shut down. I think it shut down in December. So Cornette probably said, "Hey Vince, you want to like give some of my guys like jobs? Like they could be lower card guys if you want."
Yeah.
Sure, pal. I'll give a couple of them jobs, and he's one of them, I guess, is Santa Claus.
Yeah, it was a cool segment. I laughed when Ted DiBiase's like, even Santa Claus has a price, and I wish it had just ended there. And like fucking Santa Claus goes heel until Christmas.
I guess they didn't want Savio to look like a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, whatever, fine, I guess. He seems to be somewhat popular.
Yeah, for a little bit.
You can't have your baby faces look like bitches. It's a real problem. They did that to Cody recently.
Oh, with the John Cena?
Yeah, it's like, get him. Hit him with the chair. I can't. No. Well, that's what you get. You got kicked in the balls.
Yep.
What would your dad have done in that situation? He would have fucking hit him.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody would have went, and he would have started doing his dusty shit, and then he would have like won. Probably.
Yep. But yeah, we moved to video package for Undertaker versus King Mabel. But before we get into the match, Doc Hendrick urges fans to buy WrestleMania, the arcade game. And this is where I like posted in the chat. I was like, so they're selling SNES for $70. And then it's the Genesis for like $54.99. And then PlayStation was like $50 or whatever.
It was the same price, $54.99.
Okay, so I wonder if they were like making some money before it like dropped down in price. I don't know.
Maybe. It's funny when you look at game ads back then, like from magazines, like shopping magazines, and you see the prices of them. They're kind of surprising, really. They're like higher than what you think. Of course, back then we weren't really buying video games. People were buying them for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really know, or you don't go into a store when you're like fucking 8, 9, 10, 11, see the price and memorize it and shit. Because at that point in time, most of us didn't have any concept of money.
Yeah.
So, I guess games really did need to increase in price. I don't know.
Not Mario Kart. That doesn't need to be 90, but I digress. We get into the casket match with The Undertaker, with Paul Bearer, versus King Mabel with Sir Mo. And I'm guessing this was probably supposed to happen like a long time ago, but because Mabel killed fucking Undertaker's face, it like sidetracked.
Yeah.
Because this like seems so late.
Yeah, this maybe should have happened September, October.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Survivor Series. But yeah, the entrance, the Undertaker entrance was great because it's like the purple light hit, the fog was really thick. You don't see anything, but you hear Paul Bearer going, "Oh yes!" And then he like comes out of the fog. And then like he's still talking. He's like, "It'll be all over for you tonight." Yes, it's over. Yes, it is. The Undertaker's like right behind him, like just being slow.
Mm-hmm.
The entrance was fun. It starts off and I think Mabel's like he hits like a big move right off the bat. He hits like the boss man slam.
Mm-hmm.
And then Taker sits up and then Mabel's like, fuck. So he clotheslines him. And then Undertaker sits up again. He's like, no. And he body slams him. This time he stays down. And then Mabel's like, all right, I got him this time. So what's he do? He goes up to the second rope to do a splash. And this is what I love about Mabel. When he does some real big move, he's been doing this yell lately where he goes, like he does some huge move, he'll do that yell. And he jumped off the second rope for a splash, did that, and he missed. So that's when Undertaker starts coming back. He's like doing strikes, clotheslines, and he staggers Mabel. And then when he runs to do another clothesline to knock him off balance, Mo grabs his foot. And it distracts him because Undertaker turns around. And then Mabel grabs him. He does a big belly suplex, and then he does the fat man leg drop.
Mm-hmm.
So Undertaker's dead. He crushed his orbital bone again. Hilariously, Mabel makes Mo put Taker in the casket while he stands in the ring and gloats. he's like, you do this. He ordered him to do it. And then, like, I think resting, he's probably resting, but like Mo gets Taker in there, and then like he walks off and he grabs Mabel's crown and shit to give it to him. And then Mabel turns around, and he's like, you gotta close the lid. He's like, fuck. So he runs back over there to close the lid. And then, like, just when he's about to close it, Undertaker's hand shoots up, like you see the angle of it. It's kind of cool, and he blocked it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets out, and then he makes a comeback on Mabel, and he's like doing clotheslines and shit again, and then he chokeslams Mabel, which he can't get that much air, but he got him. Taker then shoves Mabel in the casket, and he drops like a sack of potatoes in it.
Yeah.
And then Mo's like trying to stop him from shutting the lid, and he no-sells all Mo's strikes. So Taker grabs him with the gold chain around his neck, and he's like choking him with it. And he throat thrusts him and choke slams him. And then he tumbles Mo like a pile of garbage into the casket on top of Mabel. And he goes to shut it, but he stops because Paul Bearer is like, you hear him? He's like, Leon! Like off camera. He's like, oh yeah, the chain that they stole. And then Undertaker like goes down in there and grabs the chains off Mo. And then, like, right after he does that, Paul Bear's like freaking out off camera. Yes, the power of the urn! And then Vince is like, Undertaker has regained his full power. And then the lid closed, and presumably the lid's closed on the feud, too. And then, like, they're doing the in-ring celebration, you know, after he wins. And then Undertaker stands up, and he does the oh, I want the belt move.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vince is like, oh, he wants the world title. And that's actually kind of interesting because up to this point, Undertaker's never expressed any interest in having a belt.
So he's speaking to the fans.
He's learning.
Yeah.
So, okay, Undertaker says he wants a title shot, and he won. He finally killed the guy that almost killed him.
Would you give this match?
I gave it a 6 because it was entertaining. It wasn't like, don't watch this and think you're going to see like some good shit or whatever. Like it's fun.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 too. So
it was better than it probably should have been because of how entertaining they were being.
Fucking Maeve go, ooh, like it's like he's telling the watch out or I'll kill you.
It's like his warning shot when he does that backdrop, like he's going to launch it all the way across the ring. They should code that into 2K25. Like you download Mabel or Viscera and he does that.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. So we get to the back. Jim Ross is interviewing British Bulldog, Jim Cornette, and Diana Smith. Cornette implies that the Bulldog stole the respect of Stu Hart when he beat Bret Hart at the SummerSlam 1992. I was like, fucking shit, yes. And then the Bulldog vows the history is going to repeat itself. And he's wearing the gear that he wore at SummerSlam 92.
He's not really. It's different gear, but I'll let it slide.
Yep.
Jerry's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Cornette was talking, there's a good promo, by the way. He said like Brett has been jealous of Davey Boy Smith since he first met him in Calgary. When he first came to Stampede Wrestling. He's jealous because of his talent. He was jealous that he gained Stu's respect, and he told him he was like the son he never had. And he was jealous because Diana found a new hero, Davey Boy Smith, instead of him. And then he's going to twist the knife in his gut one more time tonight when he takes the world title. I was like, nice. That was a good one. And then JR is like asking Diana if she has any comments or mixed feelings about the match. And she's like, no, I'm confident Davey will win, eh? I just added A because she's Canadian.
Yep. She how do you feel about her quote unquote acting in any segments? She just looks lost.
She's not an actress, so all they can do is tell her, do this, try to do this, and she'll do it. I think it's fine when people talk to her, because it's like, let me get your thoughts on this, and that's okay. At least she doesn't freeze up and like she's like stumbling over a word. She seems to be able to talk okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when it's supposed to be like, look at her reactions to what's happening, it's kind of like she's, ooh.
Yeah.
Or she looks confused or something.
It kind of looks like, because she's been around the business a really long time, that she can't fucking feel anything, essentially.
She's probably like looking at it like, not as much of I'm just a bystander. More like, what are they doing in there? Like she's like trying to actually see what they're doing. Just, But yeah. And then like on the flip side of that, Petting Zoo tries to get comments from Brett. And Brett's like, everybody wants to be the WWF champion, but unfortunately for them, I'm the champion. And he's like, Davey Boy beat me at Wembley in 92, and he's like, I've had to live with that ever since. But this time, I'm going to be the winner. And he's going to prove he's the best there is, was, never will be.
And boom, we go into the match.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Yep. So, all I wrote was, I loved every psychology of this match. It looked like they were. It looked like it was going somewhere. It looked real, especially when Bret Hart goes into the turnbuckle and how he fucking, sells that shit.
The turnbuckle shots, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that he got color, dude.
He got a good one in this match.
Do you think that Vince didn't know about the color?
Yeah, and I don't know what it was, but they had a ban on blood back then.
Mm-hmm.
So what Brett would usually do was if he felt like some match needed fucking color, he would do it. So that he didn't care. And what he would try to do is he would tell Vince it was an accident or some shit, and usually he'd leave him alone after that. So either Vince believed him or he's like, God damn it, you're not supposed to do that, but it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
One of those. But yeah, like it starts off pretty intense, and then Bulldog gets control with his superior power and shit. And Brett can't seem to really get his footing in this match for a while. There's this funny spot where Cornette is able to get like a racket shot on Brett's throat when he's like hanging over the bottom rope, recovering. And he like turns around. And it's funny because he has that little Santa Claus like racket cover thing. It makes it even funnier. And the cameraman's like just lingering on him standing there with his arms crossed. And he's like, what are you doing? Get out of my face. I didn't do anything. It's all pissed off. Just walks away. I noticed an ECW chant broke out during this match.
Yeah, why?
I guess because they're in Pennsylvania. That's the only thing I could think of. I'm like, why are they chanting ECW? It's like, oh, they might be close to Philly. I don't know where Hershey, Pennsylvania really is.
But I also wonder, like, they could have saw a ECW wrestler in the arena. That could also be a thing too.
Maybe. I think it's just got more to do with the region. Because around this time, I've like when they go to shows in the Northeast, specifically areas around Philly, either in Philly or around it, they get ECW chants a lot around this time.
Why though? Like,
because that area, because ECW is the promotion in that area.
I get that, but I'm thinking about logic wise, like,
oh yeah, why would you buy a ticket to a WWF show and go there and chant ECW?
Yeah,
I don't know, especially because like this match wasn't bad, you know. And after it really started getting going, they quit that shit. They weren't really doing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There was just one thing that happened, and that was like when they noticed Brett was bleeding, they started yelling, "He's hardcore," which that's a compliment. That's a good chant. So
yeah,
but they do it. Yeah, it happens more like as we get into '96 and stuff. I remember that. I was like, "What the fuck is he?" I was like, "Not what the fuck," because I was like 10. I was like, "What's ECW?" I had no idea. But let's see. Bulldog is spending a lot of time putting Brett in chin locks between spurts of offense, and that's like I'm noticing a pattern's forming in his work.
Mm-hmm.
Where like Bulldog is like he's in control, and he's like, "All right, I gotta like keep the heat on. What do I do? Chin lock." It's a pattern.
Yeah.
After a long while of Bulldog being in control, Brett is able to come back. He hits a monkey flip off Bulldog running the ropes. And then Brett does an inverted atomic drop, headbutt to the gut, Bulldog for 2. And then Brett says, fuck it. And he does a pile driver. And King's like, no! He like screamed no. And he's like, he learned that from me. He might win. Because he did a pile driver. He got it too, though.
Yeah.
Brett hits rush leg sweep, puts Bulldog on the top turnbuckle, and tries to go for a superplex, but Bulldog says no and picks him up and drops him nuts first on the top rope. And then Brett flops out to the floor, and then Bulldog rolls out, and he nails Brett in the back of the head, like with his forearm, and Brett like flops, and like his head hits the stairs off of that shot. And that's like where he gets his color, I'm pretty sure. Because he lays there for a while.
You think he bleeded and bladed?
For sure. Because I think he had like that's why he would set it up to where it looked like it was believable that he could have accidentally gotten busted open.
Yeah, like for example, when he faces Austin and Austin throws him into the fucking the fucking fan
the
thing.
Security rail.
Yeah, security rail. when he hits it, that's where he like fucking blades his, or that's when Stone Cold blades his fucking head, essentially.
Yeah, I think that was the thing about Brett when he would get color when a time when you're not allowed to. It's like you got to think he has to do it good enough that when he lies to Vince about it, he has to believe him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not just trying to fool fans; he's trying to fool Vince, who can see camera and everything.
Yeah, because I imagine Vince is like, "What the hell?" And then like Brett's like, I hit
the stairs, and my forehead hit the corner, and I just went down."
Yeah.
I think at that point, like, let's see. Yeah, he picks Brett up and he rams him into the ring post too, like back first. And that's when you see like he got a good one because there's like blood drops, there's pools forming on the floor there. And it's like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Davey gets back in the ring, throws him hard into the turnbuckles. So Brett's like selling those turnbuckle shots, and then he does a pile driver for 2. And then Davey's doing his shit. He's stalling suplex, body slam. And he does a diving headbutt from the top rope. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Gets 2 though. Bulldog pulls Brett a bow and arrow, and then Brett's like, "No, fuck that." He gets out of it really fast and almost gets Bulldog in the sharpshooter. And then it's like he's able to get out of it, but it's like Bulldog got scared because he was about to get the sharpshooter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cornette's like, "What are you doing? Get him! Stay on him!" And Brett shoots Bulldog off when he's got him in a headlock, and he just plows into him with a shoulder tackle. Bulldog hits Brett, that is, and he goes flying out of the fucking ring. Like he just launched him, which was cool.
It looked cool.
And then Bulldog's going to suplex Brett back into the ring from the apron, but Brett just jumps over him and hits a German suplex and gets 2. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Bulldog tries to charge Brett, but he ducks. He backdrops him onto the floor. And Cornette's trying to get Bulldog up from that. And then Brett suicide dives him out of nowhere and he starts punching him. So Brett's doing a dive. Whoa. And then he gets on the apron like he's going to jump off onto Bulldog, like he's going to do like a splash or some shit. But Bulldog catches him and he does the power slam to him out on the floor. It's like, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is starting to wind down, get to the end here. Bulldog went to expose the floor, like he's ripping the pads up. And he's going to suplex Brett onto the floor, but Brett blocks it. And then he puts Bulldog on the security rails nut first, so he pays him back for that. And he clotheslines him off of it, which was a nice touch. They get back in the ring, and Brett does a backbreaker. And they did this cool spot where he arm whipped Davey into the corner, and he caused Davey to go upside down when he hit the fucking corner, the turnbuckles. And it's like when he bounced off, it was like he landed on top of his head. And I was like, whoa, like, what? I've never seen anything like that before. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it did look cool.
He gets Bulldog up on the top rope, then he actually hits a superplex. He pins Bulldog, but only gets 2. It's like, fuck. Brett gets upset, and he starts arguing with Earl Hebner, and then Bulldog recovers and charges Brett into the ropes, and he does the O'Connor roll. So this is like, oh shit, this is like Wembley. It's the same finish.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to pin Brett, but Brett reverses it, and then he holds on to his tights, and he only gets 2. It's like, oh, that was a nice callback to the Wembley finish.
Mm-hmm.
Except Bulldog didn't pull his tights, I think.
Yeah.
Brett gets Bulldog in the corner, does some uppercuts, and then Bulldog throws Brett in the other corner, and he goes to charge him. But Brett gets his boot up and hits Bulldog, and he goes, ugh, and he just kind of collapses. And then Brett does a La Ming straw like pin. That's the thing where like you grab the dude's arm and you like roll over and get him in like a pin. He pinned him with that. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect him to beat him with that.
Yeah, me either. That's from a fucking Bulldog to now this move. I'm like, I love that type of finish. And judging by how many pinfall there was, They didn't hit any of their finishers the whole time. They didn't do like multiple finisher moves and kickouts. It was an actual fucking fight that was really, really close.
Both guys did their finisher one time, and it didn't work for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bulldog hit his power slam on the floor. You can't beat him on the floor. And then Brett did a sharpshooter, but he was able to get out of it too quick. So it was really like he was in it, you know. So there was built-in excuses.
Yep.
Great match, though. Really good.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a good match. I gave this an 8.2 out of 10 because it was just a nice fucking amazing match as far as like it was actually psychology. There was wrestling and it looked like a good beatdown. So that's why I gave it an 8.2.
I gave it an 8.9.
Oh shit, you're more than me.
Well, this is my shit. I loved it because it was like it felt like a fight. There was good color there. There was, like you were saying, good psychology. And yeah, it just felt like it felt real. It felt like this guy's really fucking fighting and fucking each other up. And it was like good technical stuff too.
Yeah. But before we give the review to the show, Todd Pettingzoo is interviewing The Undertaker and Paul Bearer, who are excited about being named the #1 contender for WWF title. I just love how Diesel just comes up and he's like so angry. It's like, I'm not gonna you are? What the hell?
Just because you beat Mabel? Like the way he said that. It's like, hey, Mabel's like, he was king of ring winner. What the fuck?
To top it off, fucking Paul Bearer goes, "You're not being cool."
He's like, he says, Big Daddy Cool, you're not so cool anymore. In fact, you lose your cool. And he like grabs his tie and shit, like he's gonna like hit him. And then Undertaker like gets up in his face, and Diesel's like, "Is this how it's gonna be?" And then like Undertaker's like, "If it's gonna be, it's gonna be." And it was like, whoa. And then that's it. That's all. That's the face off.
Are we gonna see a Diesel versus Taker?
Yeah, they have a match sometime in the next 3 months. I think it's at WrestleMania, actually.
Okay.
Diesel and Undertaker have a match at WrestleMania.
Interesting. All right. Well, I enjoyed this. What do you call it? This
In Your House 5.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be shitty, but there were some matches that were like 6.4s or 6.9s and all that stuff. We weren't insulted by any of these matches.
No, there was no bad matches. There weren't really any bad promos or segments necessarily. Solid. You know, some stuff feels a little like, oh, this could have been on Raw, like you were saying. A couple things did. But the main event fucking ruled. And the hog pen match was good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No. Oh, geez. Uh-oh. I think we're having difficulties. We are. Well, Dubs got knocked offline. So just going to go into like thoughts on the show. It was pretty solid, better than the last few In Your Houses. Main event helped make up for matches. And the end with Diesel and Taker was interesting. Teasing an upcoming match between those guys. I thought the show was good. I gave it a 6.9. It was not bad. That was pretty decent. Be right back.